what's up? I mean, a reunion with the Roots for me, it could only happen if like three things happened. What's up, Skate? Yeah, I wish this was an easy way. There was an easy way to talk about any of this, because my relationship with the Roots in this era of my life is heartbreaking. Let's get this one thing straight when it comes to the Roots. I love them. I will always love them. I will always love the time that I spent with them. And I always knew, even back then, that my time with them was going to be short-lived. My career was never about everyone else. It was about me. It was about my goals. It was about my dreams. Working with them at the time that I did, it was important. It was groundbreaking. It was historical. We created an energy that has never been duplicated. And it would be great to be able to do that again. But there are so many personal grievances just in everything that's happened over the course of 20 years, 20 plus years. In order for me to even consider being a part of any of that, I would need, number one, first acknowledgement. I would need acknowledgement for everything that I did for the crew, for everything that I did for the camp, for everything that I did for each one of them personally. I would need the acknowledgement that I deserve. I miss Philly too sometimes, but Philly broke my heart in a whole lot of ways, and not the people, but just the politics, the business, the nefarious little games, the popularity seeking, and the vanity just of it all. It just became too fake for me, and I'm real. I'm a real Philly girl. I don't pretend to be a Philly girl. I'm a real Philly girl. It is what it is. And when you deal with all of these people who are Philly girls but really want to be LA girls, or really want to be Miami girls, or really want to be New York girls, it's like, okay, got it. I'm the real deal. I've never faked it. Love home, but home broke my heart. Because there's just very little loyalty. There's such little loyalty. I supported everyone. When Jill Scott's first 2 albums came out, I went to the store. I bought 20 copies on the first day, and then I went back and I bought 10 copies every day after that. I did the same thing with Belial. I went around the street. I would go to FYE, and I would buy like $400-$500 worth of CDs and just walk around the streets, handing them out to people, saying, I need you to listen to this, and then go tell 3 people to buy this album. It's amazing. And when I would bump into them on the streets, they would say, you were right. Somebody stole my copy. I had to go back and actually buy one. That's what I did for my peers, for Belial, for Jill, for music, for Kindred Family Soul. Like, I was always a heavy supporter. I'm a big supporter. I'm a pusher. You know what I mean? I don't need to be great by myself. I need everybody that I roll with to be great. See, greatness isn't about how good you look amongst the crowd. It's how good the crowd that you're with looks. Now, if everybody else is doing okay and you got that one guy that says, yeah, he the man, he did this, he did that. I mean, what it looks like is somebody who's seeking attention. It looks like someone who needs constant validation at all times. But if everybody that you're rolling with is a beast in their own right, if everyone that you're rolling with, is strong, y'all move together. Now, see, that's that 300, mentality. I don't know if y'all remember that movie about the 300. But I love it. I live by it. I believe everything that's in it. Cut the weak and let the strong move on. No one man is greater than the other. We stand together. We live together. We rise together. We fall together. I'm a Spartan at heart. But not everybody thinks the Spartan way. So when you're an artist dealing with other artists who you happen to be signed to, and all right, number one acknowledgement I would need from the Roots in order to really be able to be for me to even consider wanting to have any dealings, like as far as business is concerned. I would need them to acknowledge that my first album, Denials, Delusions, and Decisions, was never submitted because we were managed by the same management crew, And it was decided that no other album in the crew was going to be submitted for Grammy nomination other than The Roots. They didn't want any of the votes to be split or whatever the case may be. You know, so my first album was never submitted. What's even crazier is the Academy wanted to submit my album for Grammy nomination for consideration, but it was not. So to this day, Denials, Delusions, and Decisions that was released January 29th of 2002 has never even been submitted for Grammy nomination, which is kind of awesome in a way, because even though it was released and it was still never submitted, it could still be a new submission technically, which would be really, really, really awesome. Yes, Richard Nichols, which would be really awesome if I could put my album up, my first album up for Grammy nomination 20 years later and actually win. That would be amazing. Now that's a story that I want to create. But yeah, I would need acknowledgement on that. I would also need acknowledgement. Triple D. I believe my first album was Grammy nominated. It was deemed number one album of the decade by the Associated Press, which to me I thought was a bigger deal than getting a Grammy. But the Grammy would have been nice. The acknowledgement would have been nice. I would also need them to acknowledge the fact that nobody made me. Nobody made me. Nobody invented Jaguar. Now, Jaguar was crafted and cultivated by Richard Nichols. Richard Nichols trained me how to be a monster. He saw the monster in me, and he knew I didn't know what to do with it because I was young. I was just raw energy, raw material. And Richard Nichols, as a sculptor, he sculpted us. The Roots, he created all of that, just everything, you know. So brilliant, you know, and just the opportunity to work with him was worth all of the slight and all of the disrespect. You know, you wouldn't think that a group like the Roots were misogynistic in any way, but they are. I don't know what they are now because they're older, but they were very misogynistic. It was not easy to be a girl in that crew, but they were easier than the other rap crews. That's why I didn't have a problem with working with them, because at least I knew I wasn't going to get raped on the tour bus. You know, I won't say who I thought would rape a female artist on a tour bus with a bunch of men, but that's the one thing I never had to worry about with the Roots. I can tell you that. I never had to worry about anybody creeping in my bunk in the middle of the night and ripping my panties down. There's so many awful horror stories that girls, you know, working their way up in the game go through. Yeah, so I never had to worry about them doing that. They never raped my body, they just raped my pockets. That part. They just raped my pockets. I would like acknowledgement of that as well. I would like acknowledgement of the fact that while I was out doing my promotional tour and then working with them on their tour, which they were underpaying me for, but I was there for the support because I believed in Richard Nichols and I believed in the utopian society we were supposed to be building amongst artists. Let's not talk about the fact that they paid Jill Scott more than me for appearances. They paid Music Soul Child more than me for appearances. And I was told, you're part of the crew, so you don't need to make more money because you're part of the crew. And all of this is in support of what we're doing for you. Got it. So even though I'm the one who brings the people to the audience, even though I'm the one who brings the people to the stage, even though I'm the one that clubs made the marquee player because I was the only person that could keep people in a room, even though that's who I am and that's the kind of energy that I draw, and I'm speaking about Black Lily, even though that's the kind of energy that I draw, I still only get paid $500 an appearance when I work with my own crew. And you pay Jill $1,500 because y'all was trying to make up for shitting on her with You Got Me, because you let Erica sing it because Erica was famous, even though when you first met Erica, you told her she was a talentless freak and the only reason you was working with her is because you was being paid to. Like, and this is why I keep trying to tell people, don't nobody really want to know the truth. Nobody wants to know the truth. And those people especially don't want the truth being told. I was there for all of it. You know, I remember when Erica came onto the scene. Miss, I'm not going to go on stage 1 hour before or after. I have to go. If I'm going on stage and Jag and Jill are performing, it has to either be an hour before or an hour after, because I'm not competing with either one of them. Now, me and Jill would get on stage and go back to back. Not a problem. But no, Erica had to wait because she didn't want to be compared. People don't want to talk about this. People don't want to talk about anything. And that's why they spend so much time trying to run me for filth and creating negative campaigns about me, because it's easier to discredit me before I start telling the truth than wait for me to tell the truth and catch them off guard. But you know, it's just maddening to me. You know, I even now, every time I go into the studio, I got people calling me from different camps asking, well, does she have major distribution? Well, does she have this? If I even announce that I'm thinking about doing something, I got people calling distribution houses trying to shut down any possibility of getting meetings. Yes, I do. I still do. Sean G from G Financial still tries to tell people that I'm crazy and not to work with me and that I'm impossible and that I'm this and that I'm that, because I told him he couldn't be my manager anymore because you was cutting checks to my ex-husband behind my back without my knowledge. That's why I stopped working with Sean G. I'm going to put it out there. I was in Europe on the road, and you sitting there cutting checks to my ex-husband, and nobody's telling me that y'all digging in my money. Now, if I was really the monster that people tried to say that I am, why didn't I just bring it to his office? I didn't bring it to his office. I just went to the bank. I emptied all of the accounts. I created another account and I left $13 in there. And when he went to the bank and he checked the account, I just checked your business account. There's only $13 in there. I said, yes, I left you with what I thought you were qualified to manage. I don't care if I am married to that dude. I don't care if he is my husband. If his name ain't on the account, you ask me before you cut a check for anybody. And I don't think that anybody would call that crazy. That's just common sense. You don't know the state of my marriage. And if you did know the state of my marriage and you was cutting them checks behind my back, you definitely not somebody I need to do business with. I can't trust you. You know, that was another big problem in the Roots crew. Trust. Let's keep it a bean. The Coca-Cola. I need acknowledgement on Coca-Cola. When Coca-Cola came to Philadelphia for the Neo Soul movement, I had the first commercial. They came to the OK Player show and saw me and said, we want her. It was me, it was Alicia Keys, and it was Tweet that was being considered. It was my live performance that sealed the deal for me. Now, they wanted to use a Rinaband in the commercial. But being loyal to the crew, I said, no, why don't the Roots just do it with me? Let's just keep it 100. So let me tell you what that commercial shoot was like while I was 5.5 months pregnant and been touring consistently in stilettos. I get there and find out I don't have no trailer because the Roots had taken my trailer off of my commercial. Now I got to share a trailer with Fatima, me and her looking at each other sideways like, yo, it can go down if you wanted to. It was very uncomfortable. I'm pregnant, but they all up in my trailer. In my commercial. It was not the Roots commercial. It was a Jaguar Wright commercial. And Jaguar said, let's keep it family and have the Roots in it. See, that's the big problem. Nobody can say that they made me. I came as Jaguar. I left as Jaguar. I'm still Jaguar. Nobody made me. Jay-Z didn't make me. The Roots didn't make me. I made me. I wasn't there because I asked to be there. I was asked because y'all called me because you needed me to do what I do. I produce excellent, brilliant artistry at all times on demand. I am nothing but pure energy. Y'all have tried to get I don't know how many bitches to try to emulate what I've done with you. Doesn't work. And I'm not saying those girls aren't talented. They're just not me. People want to know why I could sit back for 12 years and just keep it on the cool. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was done with my ex-husband, I wasn't paying him another dime. Not another dime. When I gotta pay a forensic accountant $60,000 to tell me there's millions coming up missing somewhere, millions have been mismanaged, But my husband's supposed to be my manager? But you getting checks cut on the low while I'm in Europe from my so-called business manager. Like I'm the first woman to get ran through in the pockets by a dude. I'm going to tell you how unfair this business is. The men get groupies and baby moms. The girls, we get managers and husbands. Most of the time your manager is your husband because your husband's trying to be around and make sure you ain't getting, somebody slipping something into your drink and getting some dirty pictures on you so that they can blackmail you into doing the show for $10,000 less. Yes, that happens. It happens. That's why this whole Me Too movement is so funny to me. Watching that whole R. Kelly stuff was insane to me. Because half of the people that was on there acting surprised were helping him do what he was doing. They was cool with it. He was writing hits. Who cares if he's messing over a bunch of young women, messing up their minds, messing up their bodies? He makes hits. I got bad memories of him in Philadelphia at Larry Gold's studio. I got bad memories. And I was told, mind your business if you want to keep your career. As a rape survivor, do you know how hard that is? To know what's happening, because it happened to you and hate it, but everything that you worked for to get to this point where you making moves, you doing it, and if you do the right thing, it's over. Hold off for a little music. Yeah. It's interesting. So, people want to know why I've come and gone, why I disappear, why I do this and I do that. Too many people watch me. I come from North Philly, Richard Allen, Logan Valley. I grew up with real gangsters. Ain't nobody ever played gangster. That was the other reason why I was good for the Roots. I actually gave them a street image. Because I was more hood than every last one of them. Had more respect in the hood than every last one of them. Matter of fact, messing with me in Philly kind of made them look a little cool. I was actually hood. All I remember is sitting with Staff we was down 3rd Street under the bridge. It was a rap battle there. The Roots came to perform. 100X came to perform. This was back when I was with Bad News, 100X. K Sarah was there that night. Ram Squad came through. Like, it was the real Philly hitters, Bahamadia was supposed to be coming through, but she didn't. I think they false advertised. Tony don't miss no engagements. But, and Staff was like, so it's supposed to be like a rap battle contest, and there was a grand prize and all of that. And Staff was like, yo, I don't see how them niggas won, because the Roots won that night. I don't see how them niggas won, man. They play instruments. They play instruments. They not even real hip-hop. They like jazz something. And that was pretty much the attitude. That's why when Clones hit and Dice Raw ripped into it the way he did, it made them more accessible to Philly. That's the only reason Philadelphia wasn't all over the Roots before they went to Europe and blew up and then came back. They just weren't accessible. You know what I mean? Like, Philly hip-hop was streets. You know what I mean? They wasn't on the Will Smith, Kid Next Door vibe. And they wasn't hard. They were just hella creative and mad talented. But see, when you're being crafted by a genius like Richard Nichols, you can pull that off. But see, me, I was the more street element. I made niggas remember that they actually was doing hip-hop. That wasn't there before, Bandcamp geeks don't get street cred. They just don't. But the chick in the cypher by the dumpsters at 1 a.m. spitting in fatigues like I used to do, cutting niggas down on freestyle all day, every day. See, that got street cred. That got respect. So, like I said, there's a lot of things that would have to be acknowledged publicly. There would need to be an apology, especially for the neglect and the disrespect that they showed me during the time my son died. You know, my son's 6th birthday, I had to rush and hurry up and have his birthday party so I could be up in New York the next day on his actual birthday to represent Black Lily, because I had to be there at that time, especially in the early days, because nobody would stay in the club if I wasn't there. I would get on stage. You know, I was. They had me going first. You know, from the first Black Lily that we did in New York, Hudson and Lake. Rest in peace, Wetlands.